playlist for men who didn't deserve it. I save time, I save space in my heart and in my mind for men who didn't prioritize me or my feelings, didn't prioritize the impact they would make when they walked away, the ripple effect, the trigger. I made playlists for men who didn't deserve it. Oh, once I realized they didn't deserve it, I wrote poems, poems of heartache, poems of lessons learned, and they still visit me in my mind. The imprint they left on my heart, the time spent, the precious moments, the things I shared with them. Oh, the energy exchange, the creative conversations, the physical communication. Mm, the exchange, the exchange, the exchange. I made playlists for men who deserve it. I fed off of crumbs, breadcrumbs, tiny little crumbs. I fed and I found it to be nurturing. I deceived myself into believing it was nurturing because that's what I taught myself to do time and time and time again. I fed off the bare minimum. I fed off of crumbs. Mm. I made playlists for men who didn't deserve it. I romanticized the hell out of our connection. I fed off of passion. I fed off of rose colored glasses. Oh my goodness. I I made playlists for men who didn't deserve it. Playlists that held songs that made me think of them. Playlists that held music that spoke the words of my heart. Playlists that playlists that spoke words that I envisioned for us. The future I envisioned us having, the connection I envisioned us growing. I made playlists for men who didn't deserve it. Mm. I fed. I fed off the bare minimum. I fed off the fantasy that I put in my head. I lived for that fantasy. And I played it out each time we had our exchange. Mm. Each time our bodies communicated, each time we communicated, each time we had some creative spark, the fantasy grew. The rose colored glasses got rosier. My goodness. I made playlists for men who didn't deserve it. And then I wrote them poems. Oh, I wrote poems encompassing my feelings, the depths of my heart. I wrote poems explaining to myself how I felt and how I got there. And then I wrote poems to let them go, but they still visit me, my memories. They still visit me because I allowed them to make an imprint. And man, I'm fearful of allowing that again, but I don't. I don't want to close my heart off. I've gotten to know her and she's beautiful and she's big and she's amazing. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's amazing. Oh, she's so wonderful. I can't give them the power. I can't give them the power. I can't give them the power. Mm. I can't give them that control over my heart. The connection that I had with each of them was beautiful. Even if most of it was fantasy, it was beautiful. It was. It really was. Connecting with others is beautiful and it has its ups and downs and oh, it makes you think. It brings you closer to yourself as you self-reflect and you connect with yourself. The lessons you learned, the things that you were able to learn from that connection that you may not have learned if you would not have connected with that person, with that individual, with their energy, with their mind, with their creativity. Uh, I've made playlists for men who didn't deserve it, but I don't give a fuck. I don't regret it. I don't regret any of these exchanges. I don't regret anything from the past. I don't. I build on it. I let it fuel me. I let it teach me. I let it teach me about relationships. I let it teach me about relationships with others, my relationship with men and why I move the way I move. I let it teach me about myself and what I think about myself and what I feel about myself and why I allow the things that I allow and why the fuck am I accepting breadcrumbs? Why am I accepting breadcrumbs? Why am I letting, why am I still allowing my father's treatment affect the way I choose men? I chased my father. I accepted breadcrumbs from him and the greater part of me fought that. Fought the fight to chase after him, the fight to connect with him. I fought it and I'm grateful that I did because I would continue to accept breadcrumbs. And now I'm unlearning that, but I would continue to do it. I wouldn't even know that it was something that I would need to unlearn if I was still chasing him. If I was still chasing him. My goodness. My goodness. I've learned so much from the men that I made playlists about that did not deserve these playlists. They didn't deserve the lasting love that I was willing to give them. But I'm so grateful for them. I'm grateful for the lessons that I learned from those connections. I'm grateful for the lessons that I'm still learning. My goodness, just from those connections. I said I was ready for love, like India Ari. And the reality is, I'm not sure I know what love is, but what I do know is what love is for me loving me. I don't know what a love is outside of me, outside of mothering and outside of parenting. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if I'll experience it. I don't know if I'll experience a love that's not tainted with trauma. I don't know if I'll experience a relationship that I don't know if I'll experience a relationship of which I will not allow my triggers to speak for me. Upon reflection, I've learned that that's been happening and it wasn't on my radar, even though I know that sometimes we respond to triggers in the way that we respond to the trauma, but the trigger's response should be different. because of the intensity is different, unless the intensity is the same. But in this case, it was different. I've learned that I push people away, push them away. I push them away. And I learned that because of my relationship to my father, I feel like I'm not worthy of the love of a man. I feel like I'm not worthy of the love of a man. I feel like I'm not worthy of the love of a man that I want, the man that I would choose for myself, the man that holds the characteristics that I would choose to share my life with. And so I pick people who specifically don't have those characteristics. I pick people that will force me to accept breadcrumbs, people that I would make playlists about, playlists for men who don't deserve it. And then, and then I have the nerve to cry and write poetry about how I was mistreated. I picked them. I chose them. I chose the men who did not deserve these playlists. I chose each and every one of them. I was aware of situations. If you listen closely, your intuition will guide you. Your intuition will guide you. Your intuition will guide you. Your intuition knows your past and your present. Your intuition listens to the messages your body sends. Your intuition connects to your unconscious mind. Your intuition will guide you to greater things, to happier things. But somewhere deep inside you, because of your relationship to your father, you feel like you are not worthy of the man you desire. I've made playlists for men who didn't deserve it. I saved space in my heart and mind. I've spent time and time running things over and over in my mind on how I could have done better and where I went wrong. That's that anxious attachment for you. I reflect and reflect and reflect. Hmm. I learn lessons and then I still, in some way, shape, or form, continue to accept those breadcrumbs. And I've come to the conclusion that I have to relearn the lesson in different shapes and form because it takes repetition for things to stay. It takes repetition for things to stick. It takes repetition for growth. Practice makes perfect, you know. But damn, the heartache. Not just my own heartache. It's the these empathic abilities. It allows me to feel my pain and theirs. And I've learned that because of this connection, because of my connection to my father, and because a little bit because of the connection with my mother, and because of the way my marriages went, I feel like the people who love me or care for me or the people I invite in my life, I feel like there's some secret hate beneath the surface. There's secret hate beneath the surface. And I don't know how to view relationships without that view, that vision, because the people that I loved, just about all of them, there was some secret hatred beneath the surface. I don't know how to believe anything else. I don't know how to unsee it. 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 And so I go into relationships, connections, feeling like I need to protect myself, feeling like I need to protect myself, feeling like it's temporary, feeling hmm, like it's okay to accept the breadcrumbs because it's not going to be lasting anyways, because I'll end up being neglected and then abandoned, and then I'll be by myself again. And so I embrace my relationship with myself wholeheartedly. I love on myself. I take care of myself so that each time I'm let down, each time I'm let go, each time I'm abandoned, I'll have me and it won't hurt as much because I love me and I love the time that I share with me. I love the time that I share with me. And I believe wholeheartedly that self-love is so important. And it's important to have self-love. If you want a healthy relationship, it's important to have self-love because my goodness, you're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. And if you don't love you, who the fuck else is going to love you? If you're not rocking with you, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe you can do the things that you're fully fucking capable of, who the fuck else is going to do it? Because it's a full-time job. They can't do that for you and them full time. And so I believe that I begin to hide behind my self-love because I don't know what a healthy relationship looks like. I've never seen one. I've never experienced one. I've thought that I've experienced them, but we all have our own fucking baggage and we bring that into our relationships. And if the communication is not there, baby, it doesn't go anywhere. Oh my goodness. I came to write poetry. I came to get some things off my chest, and all of overflowed, this overflowed, and I needed it more than I realized. I needed it more than I realized. Oh my, oh my goodness.